So let me continue working on my animation and let me set some keyframes on the spikes so that at the beginning of my animation there will be no spikes, and then the spikes starts coming up at the end of my animation. So I will kind of be going and setting my keys backward, a little bit backward as I go. Right now I am at frame 150. You can see frame 150 right here. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep spikes just like this at frame 150, which is great. But then I will go back a few frames, maybe 5 frames back. So I have this little triangle. I can click a couple of times so that it says frame 145, and then I'm going to use my slider right here and remove all the spikes. Basically, I'm going to bring the slider to 0. Okay, there are no spikes at this point. And right now, what happened is Blender set a keyframe. So now at frame 145, there is no spikes, but at frame 150 there will be spikes. So the spikes will gradually fade in over the course of 5 frames between frame 145 and frame 150. So you can see how this works. So let me go back. I'm clicking on this button right here to go back in time. I'm going to frame 140. So at frame 140 I would like to add spikes. So I'm going to bring the slider all the way to the right, and at this point Blender sets an additional keyframe. Let me go back again to frame 135. At frame 135 let's have no spikes. So let me go ahead and bring the slider all the way to the left so there are no spikes, and right now Blender just set a keyframe for no spikes at frame 135. So let me go back a few more frames. I'll go back to frame 130 and I will bring spikes up again at frame 130. I just set my next key. And let me set one last keyframe. I'm going to go back to frame 125 and I'm going to bring the slider all the way to the left to remove the spikes. And just now Blender set one more keyframe for no spikes at frame 125. So I think this is enough. So let me show you how this works. I'll just go back to frame, let's say 107. So the object is just moving. There are no spikes, and then I'm going to click on this triangle right here to go forward. So once I reach frame 125, you can see the spikes come up, then they disappear between 130 and 135, then they come up again between 135 and 140, then they disappear again between 140 and 145, and then they come up again between frame 145 and 150. So that's this animation that we created so far, and you can see the whole scope of this animation if you just simply click on this forward one key button. You can see the object is moving first, and then at certain point the spikes will come up, and that I think heightens sense of anger in this animation. This concludes this particular demo segment, and in the next demo segment I will show you how you can preview your animation.